Spring is sprung in Rhode Island, and you know what else? The home market is bubbling up. Buyers are coming into the market, sellers are coming into the market, mortgage rates are going down. What's happening with home prices? If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, give us a like or a thumbs up, and smash that bell so you get notified anytime we put out a new video. Let's talk about the Rhode Island spring market. One of the most common questions or comments or remarks that I get from people who are looking to purchase homes in Rhode Island is that they're waiting for home prices to go down. Why does everyone think this? Well, it's easy to understand. If you look at the headlines that were all over the internet and television and in the news all of last fall, you can see that everyone kept saying home prices are falling, home prices are falling. For example, CBS News was quoting the Dallas Fed saying U.S. housing prices could plunge 20%. Fortune magazine had an article that they were quoting Moody's data saying that there are now 210 U.S. markets at risk of a 15 to 20% price drop. And again, CBS News was quoting probably that same Moody article saying that U.S. home prices could fall as much as 20%. Well, what does that mean for you? There's a reason we think this way. There's a concept out there, and it's called narrative circuitry. And it's the idea that we as human beings, we narrate what's happening around us instead of just observing what's happening around us. In other words, we spend 90% of our times telling ourselves what is happening instead of actually seeing what's happening. So let's look at what the housing market is actually doing. We know, or we think that numbers don't lie. We look at what actually happens in the market and we use data, not drama. So if you look at this chart that's up on your screen right now, you'll see that in January of 2023, here's the year over year. Now this is from January of 22 to January of 23. This is 12 months comparison. And these cities are listed in alphabetical order. And we can see that almost all of them continued to see price appreciation over the 1 year period. Big increase in Miami, went up 13.8%. Atlanta went up 8.4%. Boston went up 4.2%. Tampa went up 10.5%. We did see some minor decreases. We saw decreases in Portland, San Diego, San Francisco, and Seattle. So this is kind of carrying forward what we've seen all along for the last couple of years, that the West Coast saw 20 to 30 years of massive home price appreciation, much more than other parts of the country did. And now they're starting to see that slow down. Here's Rhode Island's numbers. So this data is put out in February by the Rhode Island Association of Realtors. And you can see here that the median sales price in all of Rhode Island, that's every city, bundled up together, was 384,000 in February of 2023. That is an increase of 4.4% over February of 2022. Now, the interesting thing here, I think, is that we saw the number of sales go down. Why did we do that? Well, because we don't have enough inventory. So the number of sales is actually counting the number of transactions. And the number of transactions is driven by how many homes are on the market and how many people buy those homes. You can look down in this lower left-hand corner and you'll see the active inventory as of March 10th of 2023. In our current market, we only have 1.2 months supply of inventory. That is a strong seller's market. So if you're thinking about selling, now's the time. And we'll talk more about that in just a second. Currently in Rhode Island, we have, when this data was done, which was March 10th, there were 880 pending sales. That was down 21.2% from January of 2022. Again, what we're looking at is the total number of transactions because there wasn't as much inventory. Here is a chart showing Rhode Island's month-to-month changes. So this top line, you're looking at the sold line in December of 2022, 634 homes sold in Rhode Island. In January of 2023, that's just a 1 month difference, it went down to 462 homes. Now, there is a seasonal difference. December is those homes closing that probably went under contract in October or November. In January, those are homes that probably went under contract in November and December. And that's generally a very slow time of year anyway. And in February, only 392 homes closed. But again, December and January are slow home buying markets. So that's a seasonal difference more than it's actually a drop in the home buyer's market. Think about it. When you're home hunting, you're usually looking in the spring. And if you were to find a house in April or May that you liked, you'd close in June or July. So the days on market, really not a big change there. It went from 36 days in December of 2022 up to 40. So it stayed on average 4 days longer. But the median sale price, I think this is the interesting number here. So we're not seeing a big drop here, even in a month over month analysis. The median sale price in December was 389,950, and in February of 2023, it was 384,000. Very nominal difference. The number of listings was 1,017 in December of 2022 and down to 864. Now let's think about why that might be. I know that when I'm working with a seller, they don't want their home on the market over Thanksgiving and Christmas. So fewer sellers put their homes on the market during the holidays. And these numbers are look back numbers. So if we have listings in February, it's because they didn't want them on the market over the holidays. And now they're going to wait for spring. So looking at the changes we saw from December of 22 to February of 2023, we saw a decrease of 29% in the number of homes that were sold. We saw an increase of 2.5% in how many days on market. We also saw an increase of 4.35% in the median sale price. Listings went up by 9 point, no, I'm reading that one wrong. So listings went down by 9.51%. Pendings went down by 21.15%. Ultimately, what we're seeing here is not a big drop in home prices in Rhode Island month over month, and not year over year. For year over year in Rhode Island, we are seeing an increase of 4.4%. So let's talk about what that means to you as a seller. If you're thinking about putting your home on the market right now, here's a couple things you want to think about. Some sellers are hesitating because they have interest rates down around 3%, which is so amazing. I mean, that's historic, and those are going to be stories you tell your family. And you might be thinking that, oh, I can't get that mortgage rate again on a new property. And that if that is your sole consideration, you're probably right on that. However, there's a couple other things you might want to take into account. Number one, we're probably seeing the market level out a little bit. We are not seeing the double-digit appreciation in home values that we saw for the last 2 to 3 years. We are instead seeing low single-digit. So your home's going to continue to increase in value. But if you're thinking about cashing out, this might be a good time. You may have double-digit appreciation right now. If you're in Rhode Island, the chances of a well-maintained home that's had, at least all of its annual maintenance done and maybe even a little bit of updating done, you're not going to go backward in value. So this could be the time to capture that equity. If you're worried that you won't get the same interest rate, you're probably right, but interest rates are back down in the low to mid sixes and projected to go down further. Don't let it stop you from taking advantage of the strong buyer market right now, which gives you the greater opportunity of collecting higher equity because those buyers are experiencing a lower interest rate than they would in the past. So if you're thinking about selling, now is a good time. Let's have a chat. I'm Sandy Warner with Warner Realty Group. Subscribe to our channel. Give us a thumbs up if this was interesting content and hit that bell. Warner Realty Group, making the complex simple.